My name is Bob Faucett, and I am in the Villages, Florida. During the COVID pandemic, it came to me that it might be a good time to do a project that's been on my heart for a long, long time, and that is to record a legacy video of my wife and I for our family and future generations. I have been doing videos for many, many years for my travel business. I've produced them, I've done them, I've edited them and so forth. So I had the skill set to be able to do this. But it was quite a project of coming up with questions and answers and involving my family somehow or another and producing a video that it turned out that we are very, very happy with. We recently had the opportunity to expose our family to the finished product, and we got very good reviews. Okay, they really enjoyed it, and it was a little emotional because it told a lot of stories about us and some things. And at the end, everybody was crying, and that's fine too. Okay, but it turned out to be such a good project for me that I decided to, after talking to a number of people in the Villages and elsewhere, that they might like to have that kind of a opportunity as well. So I decided to offer my own services, if you will, to help other people to create a legacy video, and that's what I'm going to do. And in the meantime, I've taken our video and condensed it down to about 10-12 minutes, which follows immediately on this video. And I invite you to take a look at that and kind of get an idea of what the final product looks like and sounds like, and maybe get some ideas of what your legacy video might look like too. So I hope you enjoy, and we will put some contact information at the end of the video and be happy to chat with you. Carol Ann and I are producing this video, which is a story of ourselves and our past and our hopes and aspirations. And it's called a legacy video, and we hope to leave it for our children and our grandchildren and maybe even our great-grandchildren and generations to come. So we're going to answer a bunch of questions, and hopefully it'll be informative to some of you out there.
Hi, Poppy. I was wondering if you could tell us about your mother.
Well, my mother is a story there. My mother and my father were both twins, as fate would have it. My mother had a twin sister, identical twin sister. My father had an identical twin brother.
Right. So, Poppy, can you tell me a little bit about your father and like what he did for a living and what like you guys would do, spend time together and stuff like that?
My dad, as I may have mentioned earlier, was a twin, as was my mother. And so his twin brother, he grew up with on the farm that I mentioned about my grandfather. But my dad and his brothers were all funny guys. They were really, they had a great sense of humor. They were hardworking. He had, Uncle Oscar was his oldest brother. Uncle Les was his youngest brother.
So I was wondering if you could tell us all a little bit about the relationship you've had with your brothers.
I had two brothers. My older brother was Walter North Faucett Jr., same name as my father. He was the first Faucett son of our mom and dad, and he was born in 1937.
My maternal grandparents were Frank and Carmela Santo. Frank was born in Italy and came to the United States probably in his 20s. And he was a tailor, and he had a dry cleaning business. And he spoke Italian as well as English, but sometimes it was hard to understand his English. And I remember him teaching me how to make spaghetti sauce. As a young child, I lived across from a train, so the railroad tracks were right there across the street from where we lived. And I was young at the time, but I loved the bike, and I liked to look at the trains go by. And I loved to play in the dirt. I would have these little cars and make roads in the dirt. I was out a lot, and and we had a lot of ground to run around in. And I remember I also had a swimming pool in the summer, a little swimming pool that I would just be in constantly.
All right, this question is for Dad. It's a simple question. Tell us about your childhood.
I grew up in a very rural area, and it's a very it's a metropolis right now. I mean, it's a big-time suburb, but right now called Cherry Hill, New Jersey. But when I was a kid, it was called Delaware Township, and I lived on a fairly lonely country road called Crescent Road along there. It's again where my father and his family grew up, a little further up the road. But we had a little neighborhood there that was just our family for the most part, and there were some other neighbors on either side of us, but there were generally the people who lived there were Faucett's, and the mailman, he used to call it Faucettville.
Poppy, what can you tell us about your married life?
This segment is going to be the answer to a number of questions that you've asked us for this video. So we're going to kind of tell about our adult life, our married life, right on through. We lived in apartments when we first got married, lived at my dad's house for a period of time, and then our very, very first house was a house that Carol Ann's mom helped us to buy in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, near the Cherry Hill Mall. All of a sudden, one day I woke up and said to Carol Ann, I think it's time to move on.
No, I actually said that to you.
No, I said it to you.
But anyway, so we made a move up to Clinton, New Jersey, and found this house that wasn't completely finished, that needed a lot of work, but we knew that we could do that. We could do the work and make it a really excellent home for us and our family, and we went about to do that.
Now this home was about maybe 60%, 70% complete when we bought it. It had been a builder's dream home. It sat up on the top of a mountain. It overlooked a beautiful, beautiful lake. It was 4,000 square feet. It had 200 feet of running glass, floor to ceiling glass.
And on one vacation, we decided to go through Florida to see some people that work for Bob. And it's not a place that we ever thought we would ever land, but when we came here and we saw the climate was so good and the people were nice, and it just looked like the right place for us, and we decided to make another move.
And here we are in the Villages, Florida, okay? And it's been a good place. We've been here now 16 years, so it's longer than any house that we've ever lived in. This house
I want you to tell us about your children, which is Sherry and I, what we were like growing up.
They were delightful children. They always seemed pretty happy, and they loved the outdoors. They played a lot together when they were younger. They used to love to swim and play on the swings, and we tried to give them experiences that would help them round them out. We had horseback riding lessons, I remember them doing that, and piano lessons, and maybe another musical instrument, I'm not sure.
Rob, I don't know whether you all know this, Rob graduated valedictorian. He and his roommate, Pete, they were roommates, and they both were even, and they were valedictorians of their architectural class. And we were so proud of him. He did that all on his own, by himself, just because it was the right thing. And now he's a very, very successful builder. And we're so proud of him. And Sherry, she went to college in Rhode Island, okay, and she studied business finance. By the way, when Sherry was in college, she graduated summa cum laude, okay, which I think is number 2 or 3 in her class. And so, you know, they're both outstanding students, and they're both so self-motivated that I could not be more proud of Rob and Sherry.
Me too. We love them so much.
We are all wondering if you could tell us what you admire most about Poppy.
What I most admire about Bob is his energy. He just has an amazing stamina and creativity, and he's just a hard worker. He's a very honest person. He loves his family. He loves being creative in cooking and in his work and in everything that he does.
I'd like to share some of the qualities that I see in my wife. of 57 years. Carol Ann is a wonderful artist. She's a gifted artist. She's been involved in art for the bulk of her life, and she has moved from medium to medium. Of late, she has been a fused glass artist for the last number of years. Matter of fact, you'll probably see some of the artwork that she has in our kind of garden gallery at our home.
Yami, can you describe what type of person you'd like to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered as someone who really cared about other people, who was affectionate with others, who were able to bring them joy, to have a sense of harmony in our family, to bring things together, planning things for our family.
But I'd like to know what advice and/or comments you would like to make to your great-grandchildren on the day they graduate from high school.
I think what I would say to them is that you can do and be anything that you set your mind on. You have tremendous talents, each one of you, and do something that you're really passionate about, that you really love. And with those two things in mind, you'll be very successful no matter what you do.
So, Carol Ann and Bob, now that you are nearing the conclusion of your legacy video, can you share with us how you felt about the process?
And there's a song, there's some words from a song, and I'm not sure who wrote it, but it says, "You only dance on this earth for a short while." So I say to myself, how was my dance? And I've done my best. I've made some mistakes, but I had a lot of wonderful times, and I'm grateful for everything in my life, and especially each one of you. I kind of felt as I was doing this project, the attitude that I did it with was an attitude of giftedness, of sharing our lives with each of you. And I felt like the video was a project of a gift for each one of you. Hopefully you'll accept it as it was intended, as a very strong gift from your mom and dad and from your grandparents. Love you. Love you all.